Hey everybody, it's your favorite mortgage broker, Rob Campbell with the Rob Campbell Mortgage Team. This is a really important time of the year for you if you have a mortgage, because right about now you are going to be getting what's called a mortgage statement, an annual mortgage statement. Now we're going to go through a couple of examples here to point out some of the things that you want to look for when this mortgage statement comes in. It holds a bunch of useful information other than the sickening and disturbing fact of how much interest you're actually paying, not just on an interest rate, but how much interest you're paid over the last year. So some of these examples are from last year, and some of them are from the year before. Actually, that's a lie. They're all from 2017 because they're old versions. We don't have the 2018 copies yet because they are getting mailed out to you. So some of the examples that we have here are three lenders. We have CIBC, TD, and a broker lender by the name of First National. It's going to give you a really good idea of what those things are that you are looking for. So I'm going to edit in here a different Campbell view. There's only one Campbell view. You got it right here. A different camera angle to show the editing that I'll be doing to these statements. So I've blacked out some of the names and personal information of some of these statements here. So what you're going to see is things like the mortgage amounts and the interest rate, and a little thing called the discount from posted rate that we'll talk about a little later. So first important thing you need to look for when it comes in is the actual interest rate. What is your interest rate? Surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't know what their actual interest rate is. When I ask that question, that's really important because that's the interest that you're paying every month, or compounded every 6 months, depending on how your mortgage interest is compounded. That's the interest you're paying on your debt. And that's a huge debt for most people to be paying an interest on. So if we look at the First National mortgage statement first, this is a broker lender, First National. We'll notice here that the mortgage number and the address of the property at the top here of the statement. Now up here is going to be your name. And that is going to be your personal information. Obviously, I've got this blacked out from a client of ours. But in the top section here is the mortgage number and address, the property address, and the interest rate. This is going to be the interest rate that you're getting charged on your mortgage. So that's really important. Also, the maturity date. Look out for the maturity date. The maturity date is when this mortgage contract ends. So mortgages in Canada are traditionally a smaller term. In the States, south of the border, it could be a 30-year term. That's a very average or standard term that's sold down there, 10 or 20 years. But in Canada, we generally stick to the smaller terms and ride that market. So you could have a maturity date that's approaching. That's really important for you to know, because it's going to give you it's going to trigger that idea in your head that you need to start shopping for your options to get a better deal. Next thing you want to know is how much amortization you have left. So First National's amortization here is a remaining amortization. I believe that amortization may be the effective amortization. I believe the effective amortization is the actual amortization that you owe based on any prepayments you've made. But anyway, it's something to keep an eye out for. How many years left do you have on the amortization? Remember, mortgage term is the contract term that you've signed in here, but the amortization is how those payments are stretched out onto the entire lifetime of that mortgage if you were to pay it over that 25 or 30 or 20 years, whatever your amortization was. So on this First National statement, you're going to notice the payment details, your monthly payment. You're also going to notice on the other side here the total payments received over the year. So it is every lender's duty to send you this letter to tell you how much payments you've made over the last year and how much of that was allocated towards principal. So you can see right here, $96.77 was towards principal, and just over $10,000 was towards interest. So this was a fairly new mortgage. As you can see, there's 20 years remaining, so it was a 25-year amortization. So with any loan, the interest is paid on the front end. So it's a front-end loaded loan, just like a consumer loan that you have. Even a car loan, the interest portion that you pay in those payments is actually higher at the beginning of the loan than at the end. So it shows you what the opening balance was at the beginning of the year and the closing balance at the end of the year. And that's going to be reflective of the same principle that you would have noticed on the statement to reduce. So First National at the bottom of their mortgage statements will show how much you're allowed to pay towards lump sum payments throughout the year, which is a 15% of the original mortgage amount. And at the bottom here, you'll notice a 15% increase allowed in your payments. So you can top up your monthly payments by up to 15% with First National. We work with lenders that do 15, 20% payment increase throughout the year. Back to the lump sum payment there. The First National is 15%. We have other lenders that are 20% and unlimited throughout the year. So minimum payments of $100. You want to do $1,000 in January and $5,000 in July, you can do that. There's a lot of options to do that. Also, First National will allow you to double up your payments. So if you have, in this situation here, this client had a $1,674 payment per month. If they want to make a double up payment, they have to pay the exact same amount, and they can do that every month of the year if they want. So that's a great option to have as well. So if we go from, that's First National's mortgage statement. So that's something that you need to take a look at if you're with First National or with any lender. We're going to dive into some TD and CIBC statements. So first, the TD. Again, I've blacked out the sections here at the top for people who I've dealt with, and we don't want to reveal their personal information. Off to the side, there's a black square there as well. That's a QR code. I blacked that out just in case that was private information, and we didn't want anybody scanning that. So again, at the top is going to be your name. Off the side here is going to be the mortgage number and the property that's mortgaged. So you could own a different property that this mortgage is for and not your owner occupied property. So the mortgage property is that's the information that's going to be going there. And the mortgagors would be your name, the people on title and on the mortgage. So down below here in the next section, you'll notice it says mortgage maturity date, and it says May the 1st, 2018, and remaining amortization 25 years. So clearly this was a longer amortization. It could have been a 30-year. It could have been, it could have been 30-year at origination, but there's 25 years remaining, 25 years and 4 months remaining on that mortgage at the time of this statement. I want to bring your attention to another important part. So we talked about interest rate, we talked about maturity date, we talked about amortization remaining, but on some of the big banks that we deal with as well, so I'm not just crapping on banks, but some of the big banks, we deal with TD as well. We hold the highest lending status with TD. You'll notice that in the section here it says interest rate. It gives the interest rate, the fixed rate, and it also mentions something about which includes a rate discount off of the posted rate. That's really important for you to remember. So when you walk into a lending institution and they're going to give you a certain mortgage rate, chances are it is discounted off of their posted rate. So the posted rate off of the street, the posted rate could have been, well, in this situation, it's the fixed rate on the mortgage is 289, and the discount given was 235. So quick math, that's 524. That's the discount that they gave off of the posted rate. So that's really important because today you're paying that mortgage payment as if, your rate is the lower. In this situation, it was 289. But that fixed rate discount, that discount off of prime really comes into play when you want to break the mortgage. So if you ever want to alter that mortgage and move financial institutions, maybe you're not happy with your bank anymore, or maybe you get a better deal elsewhere, and you want to move that mortgage to another institution, you're going to have to pay a penalty. And the penalty you're going to have to pay is based off of that discount that you get at the time of signing the paperwork. So that's something that you really need to pay attention to. Where on my mortgage statement does it talk about discounted off of posted? Generally happens with big bank mortgages. It can happen with broker mortgages, but traditionally it's something that happens more often with big bank mortgages. So anyway, back to the form here. Again, mortgage principal and interest paid. There's obviously a property tax component here to this mortgage statement, and the total regular semi-monthly payments on the statement. That's great. Your mortgage summary for the statement period. Again, going over the year behind and how much you paid for principal and interest. So the principal paid here, the interest paid here, payments to the property tax account if you're taking your property taxes with your mortgage payment. That's really important to remember as well. And the total payments made over the year. Tax account information on this statement. Okay, so that was TD. So that is TD Bank's mortgage statement. That's what that looks like. Now we're going to move on to the CIBC mortgage statement. Again, names blacked out here. Obviously, somebody scribbled on here to save this document for Rob when they came to deal with me, so excuse that. But yeah, a lot of the stuff blacked out here. So again, name up here at the top and the property address, borrowers on title, mortgage number up here in the top corner. That's important too if you ever want to call and inquire about your mortgage. Ask any specific questions. You're going to need that mortgage loan number, the property address, what type of a mortgage it is. So this one was a 1-year close, a fixed rate, annual interest rate was 2.44%. Okay, so that's where your mortgage rate is. And again, interest rate discount. Again, talking about the discount off of the prime rate, the posted rate for that fixed rate. So that's important too. If your mortgage broker asks you what that discount off of the posted rate is, that's really important information to figure out what that interest rate penalty is going to be if you were to leave that institution before maturity. Okay, so again, principal payments. Again, principal payments made over the year, how much interest was paid. Again, that's important to know. And the balance at the end of the year. Payment frequency details and how much is going to the tax account. And then actually down in the CIBC statement off to the right, you'll notice it says years remaining to pay off your mortgage term is 13 years and 8 months. So that's remaining amortization down there. So hope this was informative. That's why your mortgage lender sends you these mortgage statements they are required to tell you how much you're paying in interest and principal. Really good informative sheets that you'll be getting soon in the mail, usually the end of January or the first week or two of February, which is right now when I'm filming this. So keep an eye out for that. Here's my ask. If you get that statement in the mail and you have any questions about that statement, maybe you feel you're not getting a great deal anymore because of rates that we're publishing on our Facebook page or rates that we're publishing in some of our Instagram posts, then please reach out. Either comment in the section below or send us a direct message through our Instagram or our Facebook business page. Our Facebook business page is the Rob Campbell Mortgage Team. Just search that up on Google or on Facebook. And Instagram, it's Guelph Mortgage Broker. And we'd be more than happy to have a quick 5-minute call with you to review your statement and ask any questions that you might have. Often than not, we're in a competitive market. So often than not, you'll get a really competitive offer from your current lender, but not always. Sometimes they try to highball you, hoping you'll just sign the paperwork to renew. Don't just sign the paperwork to renew. Reach out and see if we can do something for you. I hope this was informative. It is that time of the year you get mortgage statements. Just remember your good old buddy Rob. And again, I hope this was informative to you. Please feel free to share and subscribe to this page or channel if you haven't already to get notified when we put up more videos. Okay, thanks. Have a great day. Take care.